Tuesday marked Equal Pay Day in the U.S., meaning it took until March 15th for the average woman in the U.S. to earn as much as the average man did in the past year. So we'll do the math for you. 2.5 extra months of work for the same amount. Tonight, our guest is Professor Christina Ewig. She is the director of the Center on Women, Gender, and Public Policy at the U of M's Humphrey School of Public Affairs. And she recently released the status report on women and girls in Minnesota, which shows us what's happening here in our state.
Every 2 years, we come out with this report where we calculate what that wage gap is for Minnesotans. And it hasn't changed. I think that is sort of the bad news of our new report, in that women in Minnesota earn 79 cents for every dollar that the white man on average earns in the state. And there's a lot of variability in that if we then break it down by race. We see that women of color are earning much less. In the case of Minnesota, when we break it down into even more refined groups, white women earn 81 cents for every dollar earned by white men. Women in general earn 79 cents. So once you average it out among all races and ethnicities in the state. We didn't see a closure in the wage gap.
I feel like this is a more mainstream conversation too. So what does it tell you that we have, equal pay day, that you continue to do your work? I feel like it's just more talked about, and yet no change.
I think there are a number of systemic issues that go into the wage gap, and maybe that's helpful for understanding it. One of the biggest factors behind the wage gap is something we call occupational segregation. So that's where we have men in more masculine kinds of jobs. So we have concentrations, majority of men, for example, in construction, majority of women, for example, in personal health care. So when you walk into a nursing home, you're going to see mainly women that are the long-term healthcare providers that earn among the lowest wages of all workers in our society, whereas construction is earning more and it's majority men, as some examples. We can also see that within professional fields with computer sciences, for example, dominated by men, which happens to be better paid than other sectors of some of our professional fields. So what is that? That's the fact that we're valuing some kinds of occupations more than others, principally because they're dominated by men. We even have studies that show that as men move into occupations, the wages raise, even though the occupation is the same. So it has to do with a valuation of what we put on work that men do. And it doesn't have to do with the skill. It doesn't have to do with the education levels. It doesn't have to do with risk levels. So that health provider in a long-term care setting, for example, has a greater risk of injury on the job than a construction worker does. That's because, think about it, that kind of work is lifting patients out of bed, for example. And you have similar levels of education that are required for each. So it's not about the skill, it's not about the education, it's ultimately about the value that we're putting on certain kinds of work. And that work that we think of as feminine, that often involves care of other people, we are valuing less when it comes to wages. That is half of the wage gap. Discrimination is, of course, something we think of right away as, well, that must be a cause of the wage gap, and it is, but it's a smaller percentage than the occupational segregation. It's estimated to be between 5 and 10%, depending upon how you're measuring and trying to capture discrimination.
It doesn't matter if you're a doctor. Male doctors are still earning more, and I thought that was interesting. It's not just in certain professions or industries.
That's right.
Yeah, that stood out to me.
Across education levels, whether high school through to a PhD, when we compare women and men are consistently earning more. So that's one of the places where we used to say education will make the difference. But we now know the current situation is that women, for example, are earning bachelor's degrees at higher rates than men are, but we still haven't seen the wage gap disappear.
What role does pay transparency play in all of this?
Pay transparency has been experimented with in a number of countries. It's been expanding. because many scholars see it as a real potential for changing that gap due to discrimination.
We haven't improved in Minnesota in a few years. What are some other ideas?
One really important idea is to raise the minimum wage. In Minnesota, 59% of those who work in minimum wage jobs or below are women. One of the recommendations that comes out of the Attorney General's task force is to raise the minimum wage to $17.40 an hour. If you raise the floor, you're going to see that gap reduce. Rural women and women of color in particular would benefit, and we would see a compression of that gender wage gap by raising the minimum wage.
What is the biggest challenge that lies ahead here?
Well, it's a big challenge because we haven't seen the needle move. I think there's an opportunity at this point to really dig in and make a difference.
We will be right back.